Hello all and welcome back. In the last video we went through 11 date functions which make our life a lot simpler when we are working with Microsoft Excel for Windows. In this video I will take you through 8 different VBA time functions. Using these functions you can get the time of the day, you can extract the hour, the minutes and the seconds. You can also convert a time stored as string to proper time. And I will also use timers to time a process. So what I will do is I will get the value from the timer, I will run a small process and then I will get the value from the timer again. This way I will know how much time elapsed in running the entire process. So let's begin. Let's launch the Visual Basic Editor. If you're not sure what Visual Basic Editor is, then I recommend watching the video Visual Basic Editor and Introduction. We will now press the shortcut key Alt F11 to launch the Visual Basic Editor. I have 8 modules here. We will use these to understand the 8 time functions. The first function that we will cover is the Now function. The Now function returns a variant date specifying the current date and time according to your computer's system date and time. Let's double click on the first module. Here I have some code. Let me explain what this code is doing. The Now function does not take any arguments, so you can use it directly as I have shown it here. Let's run this. To run this, click on the Run Sub User Forms button, or you can also press the shortcut key F5 and we get the time. The format of the time is dependent on the long time settings of your regional settings. I mentioned in the last video how to check the date format in the regional settings. Same place we can also check the time format. Let's check it. So I'm going to right click on the start button and I will click on settings. Then I will click on time and language and then I'll go to language and region. And in the region format, if I scroll down, I can see my long time is HHMMSS. So if I go back here and if I change the long time to 9:47 AM, which is HHMMSS AM PM, and if we go back to the Excel file and if I run this code again, see what happens. This time I get HHMMSS AM. So I'm going to click on OK. I will go back and I will reset the setting back to what I had, which is HHMMSS without the AM and PM. So I will close this. You can also check the default time format in Excel by right clicking on any cell and then clicking on Format Cells. Then go to the time section, which is under the number tab. Do you see this first entry? Do you notice the asterisk? This means this is the default time format. Let's go back. I usually use the Now function to time a process. Here is an example. Let me uncomment it and then I will explain what the code is doing. Here I have 2 variables to store the time. And here what I'm doing is when the code is run, it stores the initial time and the start time. And this is a very basic loop that I created so that it takes some time to run the loop and then I'm storing the time again in the end time. Finally, I'm showing this in the message box. The process started at start time and ended at end time. So let's run this. And I get the process started at 2:26:50 and the process ended at 2:26:55. So it took 5 seconds. So let's go back. Okay, moving on to the next function. The next function that we will cover is hour. The hour function returns a variant integer specifying a whole number between 0 and 23, inclusive representing the hour of the day. Let's double click on the second module. The syntax of hour function is hour time. The required time argument is any variant. numeric expression, string expression, or any combination that can represent a time. If time contains null, null is returned. Here what I'm doing is I'm displaying the time, and in the next line I'm extracting the hour from the time and I'm showing it so that we can compare it together. Let's run this. So we can see the time is 2:31:33. So the hour part is 2, which is this. Let's go back. Moving on to the next function, which is minute. The minute function returns a variant integer specifying a whole number between 0 and 59, inclusive, representing the minute of the hour. Let's double click on the third module. The syntax of the minute function is minute time. The required time argument is any variant, numeric expression, string expression, or any combination that can represent a time. If time contains null, then null is returned. Here also the code is pretty straightforward. If we run this, it will give the minute from the time. So let's run this. And we see the time. And here we get the minute, which is 33. So it is extracting 33 from this particular section. Let's go back. Just like we extracted hours and minutes, similarly we can extract seconds from the time. The next function which will help us achieve this is second. The second function returns a variant integer specifying a whole number between 0 and 59, inclusive, representing the second of the minute. Let's double click on the fourth module. The syntax of second function is second time. The required time argument is any variant, numeric expression, string expression, or any combination that can represent a time. If time contains null, then null is returned. So the code does exactly the same thing what it did in the hour and the minute module. The only difference is it is extracting second instead of hour and the minute. So let's run this. And I get 41. 41 is the seconds which is extracted from the last part of the time. As you notice that the minute also has 41, so ignore that. It's from the last part. Let's go back. The next function that we will cover is the TimeSerial function. The TimeSerial function returns a variant date containing the time for a specific hour, minute, and second. Let's double click on the fifth module. The syntax of TimeSerial function is TimeSerial hour, minute, second. The TimeSerial function syntax has these named arguments. Hour is a number between 0 and 23. 0 is midnight 12 and 23 is 11 p.m. The minute is any numeric expression. Similarly, second is also any numeric expression. Here there are three different variables that I'm using to store the values. One for hour, one for minute, and one for second. And here I'm using TimeSerial to create a time from these three values. So when I run this, see what happens. It shows 5 in the morning, 18 minutes and 25 seconds. It's picking up the values from here. 5 is the hour, 18 is the minutes, and 25 is the seconds. Like I mentioned earlier, the hour can be a whole number between 0 and 23. So to create a time in anti-meridian, which is AM, you can choose a value from 0 to 11. Like I said, 0 is for midnight 12. So if I change the value of the hour to 0, and if I run this, see what do I get? I get 00, 18, 25. That means it's 18 minutes, 25 seconds past midnight. For post-meridian, that is PM, choose a value from 12 to 23. For example, if I change the value of the hour to, let's say, 18, which is 6 o'clock in the evening, and if I run this code now, it will show you 18, 18, 25. That means 6 p.m., 18 minutes and 25 seconds. TimeSerial, like DateSerial, is a very important function. Whenever you're writing date and time to Excel cell, always use date serial and time serial so that Excel can correctly store the date and time based on the regional settings, and you'll not have to worry about Excel misinterpreting your dates. Moving on to the next function, which is time value. The time value function returns a variant date containing the time. Let's double click on the sixth module. The syntax of time value is time value time. The required time argument is normally a string expression representing a time from 0, which is 12 AM, to 23:59:59, which is 11:59:59 PM, inclusive. However, time can also be any expression that represents a time in that range. If time contains null, then null is returned. Here I have a TimeVal variable. I'm storing 2:21:15 AM in TimeVal. So this is a string because this value is within double quotes. When I run this, see what do I get? I get 2:21:15. Similarly, if I comment this and I uncomment the other, where I've specified PM instead of AM, let's see what do we get. We get 14:21:15. 14 is after 12 in the afternoon, so 2 PM. 2 PM 21 minutes and 15 seconds. This is exactly what we are trying to get. Let's comment this and let's test the next scenario. Here I have 23:21:15 stored as a string. Now let's convert this to time. And I get 23:21:15. This is proper time. Let's go back. When the time stored as string is converted to proper time, you can then use that time into calculations. You can add time to it, you can subtract time to it, and you can do other operations which you couldn't have done when the time was stored as string. The next function that we will cover is time. The time function returns a variant date indicating the current system time. Just like now, time also doesn't take any argument. Let's double click on the seventh module. The code is pretty straightforward. If you run this, it will display the current system time. So I'm going to run this and it shows me 2:53:21. So if you want to write, let's say, time to a particular cell, then just type range a1.value is equal to time and it will write the time to that particular cell. And now the final function. The function that we will cover now is timer. The timer function returns a single representing the number of seconds elapsed since midnight. Let's double click on the 8th module. Just like now and time, timer also doesn't take any argument. If we run this code, we will get the number of seconds elapsed since midnight. So if I run this, I get 10,470. That means that many seconds has elapsed since midnight. I usually use the timer to pause the application. Here is an example. Let me uncomment this code. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type debug.print timer and then I will type wait 5. I'll just write this down and then I will explain it. And then I will copy this line and I will paste it here. Now I'm going to show the immediate window. I'm going to output the values from timer example to immediate window. When I run this timer example, debug.print will output the number of seconds elapsed since midnight. Then it is going to wait for 5 seconds. And then it will output the number of seconds again. So let's see what we are doing here. I have a variable nsec is equal to nsec plus timer. So nsec is the number of seconds that I want to pause. So I'm saying nsec is equal to 5 plus the number of seconds elapsed since midnight. Then I'm checking if this value is greater than timer. And here I'm checking if nsec, which is timer plus 5 seconds, is greater than timer. Till the time it is greater, this loop will keep on running. And the moment the timer is equal to the nsec value, the code will stop. So let's run this. So I get 10,746, then I get 10,751. So the code added 5 seconds to 10,746 and hence we got 10,751. So you can use timer to pause an application. You can also use timer to time a process. So to time a process, what you can do is you can get the total number of seconds elapsed since midnight at the beginning of your code. And then at the end of the code, again get the total number of seconds elapsed since midnight and then simply subtract it. It'll tell you how many seconds the entire process took. Date and time functions are very important. If you plan to create an application in the future where you may have to interact with date and time, or say interact with data in worksheet which has date and time, then these functions will tremendously help you. Time for a quick recap. In this video, we learned about 8 different VBA time functions. We learned how to get the time of the day, we learned how to extract the hour, the minute and the second from the time. We also learned how to convert a time which is stored as string to proper time, and not to mention the timer function which we use to time the entire process. If you still have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, or you can also email me on support@timeexcel.com. I also have a Facebook page, the link is in the description below. Feel free to join that, and if you have any questions, post it there. If I'm online, I'll be more than happy to help you out. Otherwise, there are other experts who will definitely help you out. Just a quick reminder, I'll be posting 2 videos every week, one on Monday and the other on Thursday. So if you like the kind of videos that I'm putting up on the channel, and if you would like to extend support toward this channel, then go ahead, watch a couple of videos, drop a couple of likes. And if you want to seriously learn Visual Basic Programming from scratch, then watch the playlist, because that is where I have put the videos in a particular sequence. So yes, go ahead, watch the videos, drop a couple of likes, and if you still have not subscribed to this channel, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel by clicking on the bell icon. And I will see you in the next video when I bring to you 5 commonly used worksheet events.